A convicted pedophile who pimped out a 9-year-old girl hanged himself in prison, days after his suicide watch was stopped. Paul Kavanagh took his own life in his cell at Pimped, Northumberland after being tormented by voices in his head. Attempts to administer CPR were unsuccessful and he was declared dead by paramedics following the incident on November 1, 2020. A new report by the Prisons and Probation Ombudsman, PPO, found monitoring meant to prevent suicide was ended prematurely, 6 days before he died. Bosses at the privately run prison have been ordered to make sure suicide and self-harm monitoring is carried out properly in future. The 56-year-old prisoner was among 4 child abusers sentenced in September 2019 for crimes against a vulnerable young girl who was prostituted out. From the age of 9, her childhood was stolen by a campaign of horrific abuse which lasted until she was 14, after someone offered her to a series of men in return for money, alcohol and cigarettes. Kavanagh took his own life in his cell in Pimped, Northumberland. Image, mirror.co.uk. Kavanagh's sexual abuse was more isolated than those of his co-accused, but he was behind one vile incident which prompted the girl to finally seek refuge. He was found guilty of 1 count of rape and 1 of indecent assault before being jailed for 9 years. Following the sentence, he was sent to the Northeastern Prison in October 2019, where he was placed in a block for older prisoners. According to the PPO report, in October 2020, Kavanagh took an overdose of a number of medications, saying it was because people were shouting at him at night and watching him through the air vents. UK's most dangerous prisoner kept in glass box vows to kill again if given chance. I am convinced my pedophile gravedigger dad murdered schoolboy and got away with it. He was taken to hospital and discharged the next day, and the prison began its suicide and self-harm prevention procedures, known as ACCT. At subsequent ACCT meetings, Kavanagh told staff he heard unpleasant and abusive voices which sometimes told him to take medication, although by the 3rd meeting claimed he was coming to terms with them. 10 days after it began, the monitoring was stopped. And 6 days after that, Kavanagh was found hanging in his cell. The PPO report said the monitoring was not managed well, and included a significant failing, that no mental health nurse attended the last review of Kavanagh's condition and mental health nurses weren't involved in the decision to end it. Ombudsman Sue McAllister said, "I am concerned that staff stopped ACCT monitoring prematurely." Video loading. Wakefield. Evil Behind Bars trailer released by Channel 5. Not only had a mental health assessment not been carried out when the decision to stop monitoring was made, but no one from the mental health team had input on the decision. There was also a lack of continuity in staff attendance at the ACCT case reviews, and ACCT documentation was inaccurate as it showed that staff had made contributions when they had not done so. She was also concerned that at the start of the monitoring process a mental health nurse had arranged a urine test to check whether the confusion was caused by a urinary tract infection, UTI, with next steps to be decided once results came back. However, even though the negative test results were uploaded to the electronic medical record, the mental health team were not notified. It is likely that Mr. Kavanagh would have had a mental health assessment had the mental health team been aware of the urine test result, she added. Northumberland bosses were ordered to ensure that staff manage prisoners at risk of suicide and self-harm in line with national policy. It was also told to review the process for requesting physical health investigations to make sure all relevant staff are included in the reporting process, and ensure the report's findings were discussed with the 2 staff members who had carried out the suicide monitoring. A spokesperson for Pimped, Northumberland said, "Our thoughts are very much with the family of Mr. Kavanagh, who sadly passed away in November 2020. We cooperated fully with the Prisons and Probation Ombudsman's investigation, accepted the recommendations made, and are implementing an action plan based on these recommendations. The Samaritans is available 24/7 if you need to talk. You can contact them for free by calling 116-123, email joe@samaritans.org, or head to the website to find your nearest branch. You matter. Read more. Fight to introduce law 8 years after mom and toddler hacked to death at home. Read more. Depraved woman who raped little girl smiles and laughs in the dock.